Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. And though we will have three of us today, one of us is running late, so we decided to just go ahead and jump on because I saw a lot of you were in the audience, and I love seeing that you're all communicating and hanging out with each other. And but we're just going to come on and start our conversation, and Yolanda Marie will be along shortly. I'm excited to. Hey, 11 people in the audience. We were just talking about all these 11s. Um, I'm really excited to introduce once again my brother from across the ocean, uh, Guardian. Guardian's been part of my awakening journey for quite some time, and he's actually really been the encouragement behind me even starting my YouTube channel and all this stuff. So it's been really fun to have him along for this part of my journey, and I really love it when we get to have conversations. So welcome. How are you, Guardian?
Hey, hello. Yeah, I'm sending lots of love to everyone from Transylvania. Like it's 9 p.m. in my end of the world, but it's still great to talk to all of you. So I'm very happy to be here. It's been quite some time, I think more than a month since we last had a conversation. So I hope we can do it more often in
Yeah.
the near future.
Yeah, it got kind of weird for a bit there. We all had some just weird stuff coming up, and like the Ascension symptoms have been like rocking a lot of our worlds. So
Yeah,
many
and
of us
also
kind of went away
like
for a bit.
electronic stuff. So also technically, like things don't really work. So I work on a computer all day long. So I'm in the IT business, and things don't behave as they should. So we are experiencing some major problems on many fronts. So, and we're
Mercury is
also
definitely retrograde.
yeah, like, and we're also feeling it physically too, because we have a lot of, I mean, our nervous system works on an electricity basis, like we send electric impulses. Also, most of our body is made out of water, so that is also affected by all the magnetic stuff that is happening. So
Yeah.
I guess all of you are experiencing that too as well.
Oh yeah, it's been crazy. Everything's been so unpredictable, like technology wise, and energy wise too. Like it feels like, you never know what kind of day you're gonna end up being in. You know how I had a period in my life where I watched The Simpsons all the time as a younger person, and The Simpsons had something in common with every episode. It would start out one way and it would end completely totally different. Like it would be a whole different. In fact, they even make jokes about that within episodes. But my life's felt like that, where it's like you used to have kind of like a theme for the day, and it's not like that anymore. It's like very bizarre how it's like, I don't know, turbulent. I would
Yeah,
say.
like things change twice a day, like up and down, up and down. But yeah, like usually things regulate, or if there's some minor disturbance or unpleasant stuff, like they tend to go away. Like also the symptoms tend to like subside.
Yeah.
Maybe even that day, or they only last for 2 or 3 days, or at least in my experience and what I've been hearing from other people. But yeah, like I also observed, like if you have some kind of, I mean, not necessarily severe medical condition, but if you have like inflammation or some kind of condition that you've been periodically like struggling with, and your body is relatively good enough in suppressing it or balancing it out, like in these periods it tends to come up, because I guess like our bodies are far more challenged than usually, and it simply doesn't have enough energy to like keep everything in balance or in check, and like all these symptoms and nasty stuff can come up, sadly. But
Right.
I
Yeah.
know, like, I guess like that's the side effect of us like changing a lot in a very small amount of time. I mean, it can be very, I don't know, like agitated at sometimes, but also tiring. Like I
Hmm.
don't know, like we were like chatting about feeling fatigued, especially like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Like I had a really good week this week, so I'm super happy. But last week, oh my god, especially like 2 weeks ago, we had like a very huge like heat wave coming in, and in the
Hmm.
middle of the day, like I couldn't do anything. Like I could barely think. So I don't know what was hitting us, but I could
Yeah.
barely function. All I
We're
could
doing.
do is like lay down and like wait a few hours until the sun goes down.
We're doing that now too. It's been every single day for a week now. A heat warning has been issued. So, and within the heat warning, then you get like notified. Your computer and your phone and stuff all tell you don't go outside during
Oh yeah.
usually between noon and 8 p.m. You know, like, but it's crazy because we have a lot of other things happening simultaneous to this. I should mention this before I forget. I saw that Jules even already commented about it, that today's the day out of time. You know, there's some significance to today and tomorrow and yesterday as well. Yesterday was a new moon. You know, today's the day out of time. Let me just say what's tomorrow, and then we'll kind of. But then tomorrow's the opening of the Lionsgate window, the portal, Lionsgate portal, also known as Sirian Gateway number 2, is how I refer to it in my head. It's to me, it's because it's still a Sirian gateway, you know, and like the Sirian gateway that starts in the beginning of July also occurs. But then also, along with this is the Galactic New Year tomorrow. So this is the Galactic New Year's Eve, you know, and there's a lot to that. But Guardian, do you want to? I don't know. You seem to be a little bit more educated on what a day at a time is. I know a little bit about it. You want to talk about it?
I'm not an expert on it. I did some research for the only reason because my daughter was born on that day. So the interesting story with that is I like doctors can like calculate like when babies are going to be born or something. So she was running late, and I think like she only had like 1 or 2 days until they would like start the birthing process like artificially, so she doesn't remain over and too much in her mom. And I think she only had like 2 or 3 days, and all of a sudden she just came. I think like it took like 2 hours or so, and it was exactly on I think it was on Friday, and on the 26th of July, and it was an amazing day, very turbulent, emotional, becoming a first-time dad.
Yeah.
And after that, I think like it took like a year or two, and I saw a post from Amenti, the Awakener. Like she shares a lot of stuff about ancient Egyptian traditions and knowledge, or Kemetic wisdom, as it is called more
Her name is
traditionally.
Amenti.
Amenti, the Awakener, yes.
Wow.
And she shared a post, I think like an image about the 26th of July. And in ancient Egyptian tradition, it is considered the. I think I have my phone here. So if you were to like fill out the gap for a second, I think I can search for the post because I know I made a screenshot of it. So
I'd be happy to. Yeah, and you know, this suspension of time has to do with what we've already talked about before, you know, regarding the 13-month calendar. This is just my limited knowledge about it. The 13-month calendar that we all know we used to follow with 28-day cycles, and there was month, where there was a 1 moon per month, so on and so forth. Is similar to that, where there's a day at a time. There's one day out of the year that doesn't have a month. It's kind of like not even really counted as a day, and that day is suspended above the others as a day of celebration and a beginning into a new, which is very similar to this day out of time. This one in the time of the Mayan is told that they didn't count this as in any month. It was not a day at all, and all this is like the national holiday where everybody partied or something. But and it was considered to be, you know, an awesome energy to utilize. So that's the knowledge that I have about it, and because of that, we have an observation of hello, Yolanda Marie, welcome.
yay. By the
I'm
way, I
so
found the screenshot, so after I could read it later. So hello, Yolanda.
hi. No. Read it now. I'm so sorry. I'm tardy.
Oh, it's okay. We're happy that
Late
you
to
made
the
it.
party. I'm happy I made it too. I finally was able to post an actual message almost on time today. It has been so hard. I have no idea what you guys were talking about because I couldn't even keep up while I was trying to hurry up and get everything set up.
Oh, you
It has
wrote.
been. It's been extremely difficult for me to have a normal human existence for the past about 3 weeks now, something like that. So yeah,
Yeah,
I want you
like
to.
You want
things.
to
I
talk
just
about
wanted to
that?
tell you.
Go ahead, talk
What?
about it. Like there's a lot going on right now. We were just kind of commiserating about that before.
I figured as much. Yes, these let's just call them abbreviated yet very powerful activations, if you will, have been taking a different type of toll. But I don't know about you guys, they're very multi-layered. Like it's all, how can I describe it? For me, it's been bursts, and then I'm okay. I think that life is going to start again. And then there's another burst. So it's a little different now. For me personally, I'm not talking about what I'm getting for the collective. That's a whole other bag of marbles. But yeah.
And it has an easy feeling to it, doesn't it? Like I'm finding it to feel uncomfortable. Like I mean, and it's like yesterday in particular. Like yesterday was a strong one for me. I was just like, ew. Stop it. Stop that.
Oh, you guys probably talked about this already, but how's Maddie? I wanted to ask.
She's better now. She doesn't vomit like ever. Like she's even when
Oh.
she was a baby, she wouldn't like spit up. I would be like, spit it out because she'd be choking on it. You're like,
Oh yeah.
But and so when she does, it's like something's up, you know. But that was like when we had that peak of the energy. I was also feeling kind of off. I've talked to people all over the world during that time. Everybody had something crazy happening physically. You know, if not something that you would count as what felt like sickness, just at least such incredible exhaustion. People weren't getting anything done. Migraines, the whole 9 yards. Everybody had something to report. You know, like the requests of what to use for natural remedy for hemorrhoids and migraines both were really common emails I was getting.
Okay.
Yeah, like for migraines, anish seed oil, or I'm not sure if I pronounced it correctly. I think I'm going to search for it just to be sure. It's a miracle.
What is it again? So it's a seed oil?
Yeah, like it's a seed oil. I get probably all of you know what it is. So let me see.
Oh, how have you been doing, Guardian? I'm sorry. I just saw an email that you answered, and I was like, yep, I haven't been answering emails. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, I mean, I'm a Gemini anyway. So for those of you who are astrology savvy, you already understand I'm in two worlds, just even in the 3D worlds, okay? Gemini's out there. If you got Gemini anywhere, you already understand that. So this is on steroids. This is like outrageous.
Yeah.
If something that you can identify as what has been identified as ADHD or ADD, any sort of attentional issue, right? It's not really an issue, by the way. It's actually a superpower, but it has been referred to as an issue in the past. It is really it's like there's been a macro filter or something. So where you were able to have because, okay, there is a misconception anyway about ADD and ADHD. It's as though you really can't focus on anything, but what's actually happening is your ability to focus in many different directions in a world where you need to have this super filter toward one thing, it just creates chaos. So anyway, but it's a masterpiece for starseeds. It's a masterpiece. You're a masterpiece if you have thought that you had ADD, pardon me, and or ADHD or some type of hyperactivity, and then you awakened into multidimensional abilities, and suddenly you are a hyper super genius. You are. All of you are brilliant. Okay, this is the truth. But right now, because we are elevating into this next level of light body, it is super physical what's happening. Very, very physical. And it is hitting hard.
Yeah. It's big. I don't know if you've been seeing these comments. A lot of people are also feeling it too. It's like, it feels like right now as we're just starting into it. Like, this is like, okay. Like, It's like, and everyone's feeling it, and it feels funky to some people. Like it feels, for me, it does anyway, too. I'm like, I don't feel super comfortable, but I can say, I'm just gonna add this really fast before I forget. In 1946, yeah, in 1946, there was a CIA document that actually was then later declassified in 2016, is how I know about this. It's completely declassified, though someone sent me the link back then, back all those years ago. Like, so I couldn't find it right now. If you want to, you can go find it on their website, though. I'm just not sure where. Anyway, this document very clearly invents what they then called ADD, not ADHD. They added the H later on.
They did.
And they said they called the people who would be diagnosed with ADD the future whistleblowers. And they had developed a compound, a capsule, to quash the God complex of the brain, to quiet these future whistleblowers. And then in the same document, I'm not making this up, you can find it. I really challenge you. If you find it, please send me the link. I'm really curious. I want to see it again. It's been so many years. But is this other part of it? It talked about conspiracy theorists. They invented this word. They were saying how they're going to make it be put out onto the radio waves. And in the movies, they didn't talk about TV because TV didn't happen yet. It was like, and what it was meant to do was to ostracize the whistleblowers, to defame them, to take away credit, and to make them be put out as crazy and exiled from society, and not listened to. And that's where that all started from. It was in 1946.
It's so amazing. So that's been done, and you may have talked about this before, both you guys. Yeah, same thing with just the label conspiracy theorist. It's given this negative edge intentionally in the first, because it's not actually what somebody is who is trying to uncover something. Well, I guess it's technically true. It is, they are uncovering a conspiracy, but anyway, they gave it a negative edge on purpose.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just goes along with the same pattern, all of these patterns. I know we won't get into all that today, but with the MK Ultra, and not to get into all of that today, because we're actually headed, today is a highly activational day, headed in a completely different direction. I just got to point out, Pamela and Guardian, somebody said, I lost him now, but he said, Gemini women are crazy coming from a Virgo. I have a best friend, Virgo father, by the way. And air signs, thought, all of that. Yeah.
Virgos are funny. My daughters are Virgo.
Oh, that's why she's perfect. No.
She's crazy. Yeah, dude. She's like the mom all the time. Stop it. I can leave their fridge open for 15 seconds while I pour my juice. Go away. You're 11.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's good that she's feeling better.
Yeah. I knew she would. It was just, she doesn't always need me like that. And when she does, I'm so honored to be there as her mom, like there's only so many more of these years. You know what I mean? And she always.
I do know what you mean.
Yeah. It's weird how that happens. You don't ever know when it's the last time. Like I didn't know it was the last time that I carried her to bed until later on. Like you don't know that's the last time that you're carrying your child to bed until you look back and realize, that was the last time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just changes. Like part of the reason that today went so crazy is last minute stuff with my kids. And my kids are gigantic. They're both bigger than me. Everybody knows that. So it just changes shape. The carrying to bed becomes more and more metaphorical. That's pretty much all it is. But so what I was going to mention before we carried on was about the physicality of this light body situation. I've been peeking in and out of the lives, trying to sort of I mean, you can only take in so much information, and so many of you already know that. So this isn't going to be, what I'm saying isn't new, but you know, we all love each other and we're always there, but we can't listen to every single thing, every single detail, because we're all getting all this information and putting it out and everything. So I try to peekaboo in there to see, like, okay, what are they picking up on? Is, you know, what's going on out there in the Pamela sphere, because they really have a handle on these ascension symptoms and the planetary process. And I love that so much. But I have not been able to keep up as much lately because of what's been going on. But the physicality, and it's an oxymoron, okay? Because what we think of as physical is changing in the first place. I've noticed there's a stark difference, and hopefully in the comments somebody will be able to corroborate this. Hope I'm saying that word right. Words are leaving. We all know that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so Instagram, all of these social spheres are different. Okay, I'm on Instagram too. Not as much though, or not as well. I guess it's getting heavier now, but there. Okay, what word can I use? It's not density. It's not that it's necessarily more dense than YouTube or anything. They all have their different levels of, you know, variation of frequency spectrums. Okay, so you have your different groups of people who are, you know, expanding at different rates, expanding at a different rate. And we're all navigating toward more and more soul family. It feels like you're leaving some soul family, but you're really not. You're just expanding out because so many people are waking up. That's all that's happening. And it's beautiful, especially because that's actually a shift, not to change subjects, but actually more people than what was originally, let's just say, picked up on in the potentiality, okay, in the field in terms of future potentials. There are actually more people that are going to wake up into this ability to reach these frequencies. In other words, they'll be able to come through this process, whereas even 2 years ago, it was a lot less people. And so that is because humans are so diligent and stubborn about, you know, when we realize we have a capability to do something and we start to launch into this brilliance, we keep going. We don't realize how powerful we really are. And we continually forget that we are the ones actually initiating this process. It's us. There's a whole lot of galactic help because they're also part of us and soul family, and, you know, other fractals of us as well are literally also helping us at the same time. Yeah. So that's freaky in the first place and wonderful. But we are doing this. So when we're like, how come nobody is intervening and doing and fixing this and that? Well, because they can't. Like, we literally have to do this. They've already done the part about breaking certain strands of false reality is how it's coming through. That's a strange thing to say, strand. But that, yeah, I mean, so that's going to apply. Somebody's going to pick up on that and run with it. It means something. But yeah, they've broken through whatever layers, but they said strands that needed to be, you know, picked apart, broken through so that people have access to the information. But once people have access to the information, they're off and running. That's the thing. And now they are picking up on something's happening with the sun. Something is happening with the planet. It's not all just this one specific biblical prophecy in one religion. This is a worldwide thing. Yeah. People are really brilliant beyond what they understand. And the more we understand that, the more they're picking up on us, meaning those of you who are going to run into Pamela and Guardian and their brilliance. And then I'm grateful they invited me. Thank you for inviting me. Yeah. So people are going to pick up on all of this. And there's so many more people doing what we're doing. Like, this cascade that we pictured is exactly what's happening, but I almost want to use the word exponential. They're using big words. They're big. You think, Guardian? I'm shutting up.
I absolutely agree with the exponential part. It's really, really, really building up. So yeah, like on my end, what I observe and also absolutely agree upon is like we lived in so much distortion for thousands of years, like lies upon lies, like civilizations, religions, governments, like based on lies and fear. Like that's how our society was structured. And like, I mean, it's obviously breaking down, like it's been happening for some time, but it's exponentially happening more. And I really liked, I don't remember like who said it, like our ability to like stay in that lie zone is like taken away from us more and more each day. Like it's becoming impossible. So yeah, like all those stuff are breaking apart and you're like confronted with reality, if you like it or not.
Right. And while this is happening, we're having a collective physical experience that no one can deny. And I would say that the vast majority of the individuals who are undergoing this experience have absolutely no idea what's going on. And it's freaking them out. And that's the part that I don't like. I don't want to feel that residual ick. That part's kind of annoying me right now. You know, like where just this, it feels dense. And there's like this like impending doom sensation, but it's, you know, it's not yours. You could feel it out here far enough. And so then it just irritates you. You're just like, stop it. You know, it feels like that kid, that little brother that's just poking you, you know, and like after a while you end up backhanding them and then feeling bad because you don't really do that. You know what I mean? But he's your little brother.
That's right.
And
yeah,
just,
like, but we went through that stuff too as well. We just did it like before so we can like stabilize the collective right now.
Yeah.
right.
Seriously, that was no joke. But yeah, and so what was coming through when you were talking was you're feeling that tension, sort of like pulling apart from a false self that hurts. And it's exactly what Guardian just said. Like it's exactly what we had to like form the foundation for, you know, pulling apart. The pulling apart creates tension, and then you have, it goes from the micro to the macro as always.
Yeah.
And then you have the collective pulling apart, and that right now, the level of atrocities that are occurring right now are, I mean, we have seen them before. We have seen this level before, but what's different about this is exactly what Guardian was talking about, how you can't look away. Like the ones who would have been able to just stay sort of in their corner and compartmentalize and not be able to open their heart. Well, the heart frequency is flooding everything right now. It's flooding the planet through us. It's not flooding from another place. It's flooding from us. We're allowing it to be free. So what happens is that's quantum information. That's information like anything else. We are information. Okay, we're housed in a certain compartment and from a certain perspective. Okay, so we're creating from a certain perspective, but we are this information. So if our intention is to focus through the heart, or you could say focus on things associated with compassion, with the whole, with things that are good for the planet. And our intention is so powerful because we're connected to the creator, okay, whatever you call the creator, but this creator energy, okay, because it doesn't have to be from a religious perspective at all. But it is this energy that is a true divine source of your own light, your own ability to create. That is different. That is very wholly different from what has been going on. And so if there's any vampiric energy, any energy that needs to seek that light from outside, it's being called out. That is on a macro scale happening right now. That is happening as we speak right now for everyone to see, and they can't look away. They can't look away from what is happening,
Right.
because their hearts, it's just going to get them in their sleep. Just what you said. It's just going to get them. They're going to have dreams about it. They're going to click on the news and they won't be able to talk whatever smack used to be talked, or whatever side you could choose. There are still sides being chosen, but watch as it starts to expand and pan out between the groups that used to fight each other. Pay attention. I'm not talking specifically to you, Pamela, and you, Guardian, but for everyone coming through, just to reignite that fire. So if you're not paying attention to the news, good for you, first of all. But what I'm saying is pay attention in general to what is happening. that is the evidence of what used to be unseen. You know how they say faith is the evidence of things unseen. We are seeing now the evidence of the faith, basically, what we understood to be true when everyone thought we were crazy. Who was we? Just people who woke up. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Guardian, you want to? I'm
Handy
giving it
water
to
here.
Guardian unless I want to give you the chance because you tend to get forgotten, or I can just jump in right now.
I just tend to get abandoned here in the
Yeah,
corner.
we listen. No,
I'm
it's not
sorry.
forgotten. I'm thinking of you while I'm talking. I'm just not letting you have a chance. You know? Would you
Yeah,
like
like
to?
also I think Vanessa, yeah, like is she the one who shared about having some star family interactions? I know like it popped up like a minute ago.
Yeah. There's a lot of many
Yeah.
people are talking about connecting with star family as well as crazy and tense dreams, especially during this shift that everybody's noticed. I can't find it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like do you want to share that ET experience that I had like 2 weeks ago?
Please.
Oh, okay. So I will try to keep it short. These things usually happen in a very strange under circumstances, so I will try to I will try to make sense of it. So I'm not sure like where or when we were. Like I know like it was like an out of body experience kind of stuff. Like it's super real, like super vivid and tangible, everything. I don't know if it was Earth like in another time or it was like a completely different planet. I have no clue. But it had like a sense of like a fishing village type of thing. And things weren't very technologically advanced. Like people were using like floating rocks to navigate on the ocean or something. I don't know what that was. I just remember it. And I know like I was with two other guys and we were like searching for an ET who was hiding among the people. And he was like a shapeshifter type of being. And like we had his profile and like we were like scanning people and like moving among people to like find that being. And I know like he looked very human and I like spotted him based on his mannerisms and like how he behaved in certain situations. And when I spotted him, like he recognized me and like dropped the whole facade and disguise. And yeah, like, it's for not the first time, but lately, like when I have like these experiences, like I see and experience things very vividly and clearly. Like in the beginning, whenever I had like ET encounters, it was always like very like blurry and shaky, and you couldn't really like make things out or have any concrete, I don't know, like information about him. I just kind of got a sense of what is happening rather than seeing it in a very tangible way. But now everything is like super clear, and even more sharper than reality itself here. And yeah, like he didn't speak, like I could see him very clearly, and I know like he wanted to interact with me, and at that point, like the whole scene like shifted, and I could like feel myself like being in bed, and like I usually sleep on my side, and I was like sleeping on my side, and I could feel like his presence like coming over my back and like trying to like enter my body, and like
Oh my God.
his energy tried to like move inside my body, and I was like, no, like don't do that. And like it didn't stop, and like he tried to continue to like, no, like stop that because I don't want to do this. And when I did that, like the eternal fire like lit up inside my body and like threw him out of the house.
Okay.
And I woke up after that. And like next night, like I went back consciously to like uncover like what the hell happened, because I didn't feel that I was in danger or anything. So, but still, like he didn't want to. I mean, he didn't take into consideration that I didn't want to do the thing that he wanted to do, and I wanted to go back to like clarify. And I managed to find him. Like I went back to that experience and like managed to get him on the phone. And yeah, like the thing was, I wouldn't say like a misunderstanding, but like they communicate in a very different way than we do. So they touch things in order to like interact with it and like draw information from it. And like that's how I detected him in the fishing village as well, because like instead of actually communicating, he was like touching all things and like feeling all the surfaces in order to like read that specific place. And they communicate by touch or by merging their energy with each other. And basically he wanted to communicate with me, and that's the way they do it, and I was not open for it. And then I asked the question like, why did it happen? And I know like my guys like brought back like a very old contract or agreement that I made like many years ago, that I am open for ET contact. So whenever something happens, like please consider me too. Like I want to participate in that. And like that being knew about it, and he also wanted to interact with us and like see and experience what earth beings are like. And this is how it came together basically. And yeah, like that's also why I mention sometimes, like if you have some weird experiences with ETs, like they are not all of them, like some of them know us very well, but also on their end, they're also learning on how to interact with us. So it's a learning process on their end as well. So
Yeah.
be patient.
Wow.
Wow. Thank you. I just want to say thank you for that entire description of that, what happened with you.
I want to know how tall it was and like things like that. Like what color was its skin? Like it was hiding among the people really easily, so it must have looked very
No,
human.
like he looked like a human when he was changing his shape and appearance. Like he blended in completely. Just after I discovered his real identity, like that's when the whole illusion like dropped, basically.
Yeah. It was like your knowledge of it made it so it just didn't work anymore almost.
Yeah, I guess. Not sure.
I've had something like that happen before. That's why I'm asking. It's weird. Just like I don't know. It's like maybe it just extra energy on their part, so they're like, it's not worth expending the energy to
hold
do
it.
that if you
Yeah.
know or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is really interesting and synchronistic too, because just yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, who knows? Probably the day before, I was having a, I guess a session with the Arturians, you could call it, like a discussion. And I was asking, because I'm just so curious. Back when I first woke up, and I don't know about you, Guardian, I feel like I may have heard you say this, but okay. So, 6 years ago, so the final wake up, you could call it. I was seeing a lot more stuff visually than I'm seeing now, in terms of like Guardian said, either very, very much more lucid in dreams. Well, that's coming back as well, though. It's more real in lucid dreams, so the in between. But I mean, in the physical, I was seeing more things. Like I met a guide, and there was like mist and starships all the time. Like I was seeing things all the time, and not things that you could just say, oh, maybe it was a ship or maybe it wasn't. It was very obvious
Yeah.
at that time. And then I haven't been seeing as much, just some things, and it's more, like maybe once in a while a starship will be, where starships tend to be, not in my yard, in other words. Okay. They might be disguising as a star. They do that a lot, but nothing up close. So yeah, I was asking. And I said, will I see one of my guides in the physical again? And they just right away were like, yeah, you're going to start seeing them, physically in front of you if you want to. It's got to do with this, what we were talking about, with this light body coming in, and the way we're able to interpret information and handle it again. Not that some people probably never stopped seeing it, but for the majority of us, a lot of us, we're going to start seeing not only everything we used to see, but probably a lot more. That's what I just got. So
Yeah. And that's been happening a lot so like I'll go. I'm gonna bring up a couple things that have been brought up in the comments real quick, just to kind of clump in what we're talking about. Lots of body feeling like it's vibrating. You're noticing like your core's vibrating. That's typically a side effect of interacting with these beings. A lot of us don't realize it. It feels kind of like almost like an adrenaline dump feeling, like you're shaking a little bit, just slightly on the inside. Sometimes it's stronger than that. And that typically is what happens, at least for me and others I've talked to, when you enter into the energy of some of these higher frequency, we call it higher frequency. It's whatever, a more in tuned frequency makes us feel like shaky. I don't know what it is. Eventually you stabilize and your energy gets used to that energy. But that typically will happen. A higher frequency of lucid and really good recollection regarding dreams. And just some of these dreams that we're having just meant to tell you something, like you'll remember and notice it. These are all a lot of the most commonly reported things, but I find that that is all saying, yeah, you're having interactions with beings, dude. This is the side effects of it. This is your subconscious or whatever it is that you really call that, trying to give you the hints. I know that for me, like my real big main ET experience that I had that like was meant to like get me to kind of pull out and pay more attention. I discounted as a dream or something straight, like I didn't even really think about it. I mean, I didn't talk about it. I didn't give it credence. I kept telling myself, no, that was just a weird, you couldn't explain a lot of the things that happened though, and so it's just been a really fascinating thing to watch what happens in the way that your body, your brain works or whatever, is that as information is meant to be fed to you, it will. It'll be slow and gradual sometimes. It's not meant to shock the system, and so and then also there's been people I've talked to that don't want anything to do with ETs. They're like, we're good. I don't want to be scared by that. Like, I feel like I'm going to be scared, they say. And so that's not their experience. What their experience is going to be. Okay, I'm going to say the last thing and I'm going to let somebody else talk is that, and what's really fascinating about all of this, it's amazing that it's happening for everybody, is that something else the spirit showed me was it's like, they said it's like a Pixar cartoon. And it's because it comes in for 3 waves, 3 audiences, right? So you got like the jokes that are meant for the little kiddos. And then the jokes, and that's the same thing for the awareness. So there might be people that have, a bunch of galactics show up on their front door, ding dong, take out, and there might be like, that's kind of like all of a sudden they show up and want to hang out. Or it might be something much more subtle and angelic for you. I feel like that whatever is going to be more assisting will be what comes through.
Guardian, did you have any? I had something I wanted to comment on with when Pamela, when you were talking about the shakiness, but I don't want you to lose because I won't lose it. Did you have anything you wanted to say first before I chime in?
No, go on ahead.
Okay. All right. It'll be, I hope, quick, but yeah, the shakiness, what came through, and it's been coming through different ways. We probably said it before, but they really want me to say, remember, it's similar to how we've observed, molecules on Earth, basically. You can think of this quantum information that way. In other words, the more it builds upon itself, the more solid it is, and there are different rates of vibration. And so it's like you can almost literally translate it that way. So in the physicality that they're talking about with our light bodies becoming more what they're saying to us solid, it's going to feel more what we think of as solidly in this experience, grounded in this experience, is the ability for our bodies to quite literally, relative to other beings who live, breathe, and do everything they do in a different, what we might call frequency spectrum, they vibrate much faster. This is literally the entire reason why we can't perceive them. I mean, aside from technology, I'm not talking about if they just don't intend to be seen, but why it's not easy for us to interact is mostly because of this, scientific, very physical thing. We would think of it. I keep using the word physical and then feeling like that is such an inappropriate word because it's not solid yet. But I can't stress enough. They keep wanting me to say, think of it as physical because it is going to be your physical experience. And the more we think of it in that direction, the easier all this is. The more we just go ahead and say, just give away to it or give way to it, like accept it. Like we are going to be, able to interact and just get used to that idea. I don't know if that made sense.
I have a question. This is very cool, actually. I don't give myself credit for this. I feel like this was shown to me while you were talking. But the odds, just the odds of having Guardian and Yolanda on the screen with me right now during the eve of this Sirian shift, which Guardian is always associated in my world with the Sirians. He channels the Tehute, and isn't that this Syrian group, I believe, and the comet that's actually an Arturian vessel is that I've gotten is like just like is shooting through space at 43 seconds, or excuse me, 43 miles a second or 70 kilometers a second. It's like, and it's coming. It's meant to line up with, supposedly they said it was going to line up with our sun. Anyway, I'm not going to go on this tangent about it, but this particular vessel, it's very much like the Oumuamua and very much like the Borsukov, whatever. These different comets all showed these strange behaviors. Not only are they interstellar, or they came from exospace, but they come and they behave in a very peculiar manner. This one's changed its trajectory recently.
Okay.
A comet without a tail, without the, and I tuned into it and they called it Arturian. So I just think that's really fascinating that we have the Arturian channel and the Sirian channel in this like amazing window of time right now. Are you, I don't know, my question I guess is, have you guys tuned into this stuff? Like what is, like, if you had to give a timeline, are we like done with the hardest stuff, or is this the beginning of the hardest stuff? Like, what do you think?
I think it depends on who you ask. I guess for some people, it's the beginning of it, especially the people who haven't done their homework so far.
Right.
But yeah, like I think like people who are aware and present are willing to shift and heal themselves. I think it's a great time to be alive.
Yeah. It's a miraculous time. I agree. I don't want to cut you off, Guardian. Were you going to keep going? Did you have
No,
okay.
No, not necessarily. But yeah, like regarding the whole serious alignment that we're experiencing right now, I found a screenshot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like okay, so tomorrow, or depending when you're listening to it, tomorrow is the 26th of July, the rebirth of the gods. So on this day, it's also said that Isis, master of the hidden realms, engaged in sacred sex with Osiris and conceived their son, Horus, who represents the light that prevails over darkness. And also on the 26th, on this day, we give birth to our divine self under the guidance of our soul star and guiding light, Sirius. So that was shared
That's
5
beautiful.
years ago. Okay.
That's awesome. Thank you. And for Yolanda Marie, I don't know if you heard us talking about this before you came on, but it's a crazy day today. Today's a day that they call the day out of time.
Okay.
And it's called the day at a time for a lot of different reasons, but mainly the Mayans and the way they kept their calendar. 13 months, 13 months, so there's 28 days in a month, so on and so forth. There's one day that's suspended above it, and it doesn't have a month. It doesn't have a place. And this is a holiday that everyone just kind of acknowledged and didn't go to work and just celebrated that day. And it is also considered the eve of the galactic new year today.
Okay.
And so this would be the day everybody would party, basically. So it's a day at a time. And then tomorrow is the galactic new year, opening into also the Lionsgate portal. The Lionsgate portal is actually from July 26th to August 12th. It peaks on the 8th. So all of this is happening. And then yesterday was the new moon, like the seed planting time. It's like
it was a ferocious new moon. I just wanted to say that. It was fiery. If no
Tell me about it.
So I keep getting window when I don't really tune into the specific, not because they're not like extremely, important or anything like that, but I'm always reminded, for whatever reason, probably just what I'm supposed to be reminded of, that everything is just used as a window. So it's like a vortex of energy they show me around collective belief, partially, but then also you've got the planetary magnetics and, astrology, basically. So especially with the movement of this comet and where it's going to, how it's going to approach the sun and at what angle and all that, that's going to be significant. But I don't really tune into what all that means necessarily, because it's really, and this isn't to say everyone should come from this perspective, but it's always, for me, through the perspective of, it's always, what are we able to create with this? Where are we going with this? Use the window of opportunity with your own potential, regardless. Like, in other words, it's not out of our hands, like what we think. Yeah.
Yeah, like this whole period that we're living in is like, the whole theme of it is that we've been creating all the time. I know, like a few years ago, maybe decades ago, there was like this revolutionary thoughts that, how to manifest and how to create your reality. And like, I have to learn to manifest and stuff like that. And like we were already doing it automatically. We just like have to learn to do it in a conscious way. So like we don't unwillingly like manifest all our negative belief systems that like float around in our subconscious, but rather like create our reality in a conscious and deliberate way.
Yeah.
Because like also I think like the spiritual community, like all of us have been doing a lot like intuitively. Like there isn't really like a source of, I don't know, like a body of knowledge that you can like, I don't know, like 100% refer to, like this is correct and like this is how it goes and this is how you should be doing things. And like I think like most of us, which is like going completely on intuition or like our inner knowing on how to do things, like how to heal, how to manifest and do these energetic stuff. And I think like we are really like moving into a phase when you like have to bring all that intuitive stuff to the foreground and like make it like super conscious and like an exact, I wouldn't say like science, but to like make it something concrete that we can actually use in a very tangible way that's also understandable for other people as well.
Right.
So it's not just like an airy-fairy thing that you kind of just manage to discover how it works, but you cannot really describe or teach it to anyone else. I'm not sure if it made sense, but
no, it did. I'm very airy-fairy. That's why I smiled. That's me. I've always been accused of that. I've always told you.
Like we're on the process of like grounding those energies, so that's why we are so airy-fairy sometimes. We're tapping into those very light vibrations.
Yeah, and I've just always been the river. Like the message I get a lot for people is to remind them to be the river, not the banks. And I've always been that person that is the river, but I'm one of those rivers that like eventually straightens out, you know. But it does. If you look at it over time, these really like this river that goes like this will eventually kind of find its center. But and that makes lakes. That's how we make lakes, man.
That's right.
But this energy of it though is just kind of where I feel comfortable is just, and I've not realized it completely until I was put in a position where I had absolutely no control over anything. You know, like back in the beginning of lockdown 2020, we lost our land. We were homeless. I was a single homeless mom with a 5-year-old, you know, and like a shell on the back of an old pickup, you know, like we didn't have anything. And we went from, and that gave me that last bit of, you don't have control, you know, let go, just let go. And when the control is released, then you can be that flow and things are a lot easier. I find these conversations to be really entertaining, but we don't need to know these things. None of us do. Like, do we need to know? We know stuff's going on with the sun, dude. There's another sun again. This sun now is on in front of this other white sun that feels like an artificial sun or whatever the freak is going on with it. That's the stage up there. You know what I mean? I don't even know what's happening.
I'm going to say something interesting, if it's okay. This is maybe not what you're expecting, but it is it will be, okay? But do we need to know? No, we don't need to know anything. But I had a message come through maybe yesterday. I'm trying to get them out a little bit better now. And this one, another one that is heavy in the field, this is higher selves. This is the whole collective on this. It's like, what's the point? That's part of what's being learned right now. Before, the solid point was to be able to survive, survival of the fittest, right? To be able to, in terms of on the backs of other people, climb to the top of a pyramid, sort of, you know. We all know this is, I'm not saying anything we don't know, but just to point out the difference with what's going on the planet right now. And indeed, there is still this bifurcation. I want to point that out. It's not as though that's all of a sudden not happening and the entire planet is just going to, there is still this movement happening. But anyway, what's being discovered, and this was so cool how it came through, is moving from that to, and it's your question, like, what's the point, right? It's like, what's the goal? So, okay, let me just back up. So here's where this comes from. When people begin to awaken, and the reason they go back into their shell, let's just go there for a minute. And part of it is because you're judged by society as being airy fairy woo woo, right? Just like Guardian said. And the reason for that is because you're supposed to be working for something. Well, what happens when everybody has the same stuff? We all have everything we need. That's where we're going. We all know this is where we're going. Sorry, you guys. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So thank you. So we all have everything that we need. We all are able to experience healthy emotional connections because we're not worried about being abandoned, right? Because that's heavy, and it's heavy rightfully so, because we've been put in competition for resources, which means you're going to go where the resources are. Everybody's afraid. That's where it's been. Okay, so and this is very triggering. This could be triggering for some of you who are listening. Sometimes I catch myself. This is just to point out how it's okay to be human for a minute. It doesn't matter what, let's just use the word level or what you do or how, you know, how expanded you're multidimensional, let's say use the word gifts, but everybody has them, right? None of that matters. We still have moments of hearing these things and it will trigger a memory. So this could be a little bit triggering. But yeah, so all of these things that we've gone through, and let it come up if you get triggered, by the way, let it come up and look at it. But yeah, so we're going through all of these things, have been, and now you've got a whole new wave of people going through all of these things. It's what Pamela was talking about. She's feeling all of the stuff sitting outside. That's that stuff. It's coming up so big. Well, because we're so far past that. Pamela, you're so far past that. It feels odd. A lot of that feels so difficult to come through is that question. that you just posed. What's the point? Why? Why? Everybody it doesn't feel sane for everyone to have everything they need, because what am I working for? Who's going to want to get up and work? And so there actually is an answer to this. There is actually an answer to this. It's to continue to expand. So why do we need to know anything? Because we love to know. We love to grow. Everything is always moving. It doesn't stop. Movement will continue. And when movement kind of gets squashed and, they're showing me like paper just being balled up, right? Where's paper balled up go? In a trash can. So that's why our lifespans are stopping at, between 80 and 100 years old now. So they're already lengthening, but we are going to be living 200 years very soon here, you guys.
Yes.
After this, yes, because that shortened lifespan is due to all of everything we just said. We won't go, because Pamela, that's another 45 minutes. So we won't go back through all of the reasons. But the point of it is the ability to freely expand and innovate. And this will continue in levels. So once we get to the point where we're able to just enjoy and then just learn, and we don't have to worry about food, where it's coming from. We don't have to worry about where we're sleeping. We don't have to worry about emotional engagement and, these other things, right? These physical needs, these emotional needs, and we can live in beauty, whatever that looks like to us. That's a big thing. People don't think art, beauty, the ability for the streets not to look like dead gray pavement. Think about that for a minute, what that does to a psyche. The concrete, it's purposefully created that way, these flat cities. Okay, everything just sort of like
spring, right?
Say that again.
Why do you heal so much so quickly in spring? There's green everywhere.
Yes. So once we're able to create what you're talking about and have these green spaces or this beautiful architecture, because we create, right? We create, and the architecture doesn't harm the planet anymore because we have renewable resources, or we use them in a renewable way, but we're able to innovate beyond. So all of these things are going to happen. Then once we get to that point, you guys, there's another level. This is it, and then I'll stop. There's another level after this. And that is, now that we can all innovate, now that we can all create and keep expanding, bless you, bless you, and do all of these things. This next level is, how can I help others? How can I help other civilizations acquire what we've acquired? Well, we won't be intervening. It'll be the same way. We are going to go in the exact same direction. Why do galactic societies intervene or want to help us? Because they are creators, innovators. They are able to continually expand. And now their only joy is to help someone else expand.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, like in the future, we are going to be the guides of other civilizations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that just...
And the full circle nature of all of it. Like, in fact, if you kind of just lean into it, we're all of it, so this is who we're talking to, the main people that we're talking to that are like interacting galactically, angelically, inner earth way, interdimensionally, whatever, I don't know. It's one of those or all of those at the same time. That's you. That's me we're talking to. Yeah. Those are literally us. And that's the part that really makes it feel cool to me, is like when you realize, because like, I don't know, I think all of us have been given the same conditioning of this low self-worth, valuing yourself below what you ought to be valued at. That value should even exist at all is ridiculous, but the way that they do it, like your example, Yolanda Marie, a minute ago, you were saying any place where you're expected to pay to live, a place that you were born, you have to pay to live where you were born, and you have to pay to live in a structure, and the way that just all this stuff works, it's all dismantling. I saw a question pop up about it earlier. And it is dismantling. I was very fascinated when they had told me, my guides and the different energies that have been coming through, that in order for the financial system to fully fall, first the medical system needs to fall. And because it is connected to every other system, they told me. What? Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
And then realize that's true, right?
That's crazy making. But yeah.
How is that possible?
I know, but I'm also starting to observe it too. Like around here, I'm not necessarily the medical system, just like everyone that I know. Like for some reason, in the past 2 years, like I had to go to a doctor for whatever reason, and like everyone's feedback is like kind of they had enough of the whole system and like how it works. It's not sufficient. It's crap. They don't know anything. They're making things worse. And like everyone is like searching for alternatives and better ways of doing things.
Because Guardian, it's the least ethical system, don't you think? Like it's literally the least, most depraved idea to deprive someone of healthcare.
Yeah, like you're profiting on people's well-being and life, basically. So it's a shit thing to do.
Yeah.
And then when you fit into a certain socioeconomic window, which I have fit into most of my life, and especially when the times that I have needed to have the assistance of the state for like food stamps and things like that, when you fit into this lower socioeconomic window, they actually do things differently too. That I had gotten emailed at every few months for a couple of years from some of these medical companies that were trying to get me to offer up my child for vaccination with this lockdown stuff that happened. And like it got up to $500. They were offering me $500.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like
experiment on.
Basically, yeah. They opened the ability to give these vax to babies, and you're lucky to be picked. And we'll give you money. If someone's offering you money for something, that's usually not a gift. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, it was pretty obvious anyway. It started out to be $50 and it just increased over time. And anyway, I jumped down the rabbit hole of vaccination stuff, and my daughter never got vaccinated of any kind of vaccinations, and I hope that stays that way. I jumped down the rabbit hole and I found a lot of stuff. And one of the things that I found in this rabbit hole was that typically, well, first of all, what is SIDS? You know, sudden infant death syndrome. This typically will, people will also like often notice a marked change in intelligence after a couple of days or even hours after a vaccination series. But then on top of that, they changed the laws. They changed them at the same time. And that was in 1979. And the law was that now in a national way, you're required. This was a federal law, meaning every state in the country was required to offer up their child to public school system in this year, beginning on that year. And the same year, they began initiated that required the child be vaccinated in order to attend school. They did both of those laws on the same time. You know,
it's always been that way with my kids ever since they started. Keep going. I just wanted to tell you, like, we didn't have, for them to go to school, they had to have certain vaccines, and that was just it.
And the same was true for when she was young enough to start school. And that was going to be like, I don't know what going to, I was considering a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, what I finally chose against was chose to do homeschool with her, at least for a time, which I'm very glad that we did, and that it worked out. It's amazing that it worked out. You know, most people can't do that. Most people, that's not an option. And in order to keep state and health insurance, often you're required to keep your child's vaccination schedule up to date.
Up to date.
You know, a lot
Yeah.
of these places that you're required to offer your child up for the health check. What's it called? The wellness check. You have to bring the child to the doctor every 6 months, every year, depending on how old they are. And you know what? What is the last place a healthy child? Where is the last place a healthy child should be? You know what I mean?
In a
Not
sick
in a
patient
doctor's
waiting
office.
room.
Yeah. She got chicken pox. They're like, you should have given her chicken pox vaccine. She got chicken pox from going to a waiting room for me.
That's part of it, though. Keep you circulating through the system. And it's not to villainize all physicians or anything like that. That in itself is an indoctrination. Like when you go to medical school or any sort of anything, okay, you guys, there's always, again, I'm saying this to a lot of you that already know this, but some of you might not know, there is innocent intent going in on behalf of the individual, 9 times out of 10, of course. But then you get indoctrinated so deeply into a certain set of beliefs, but it's largely, it is conscious, but the meaning behind it is unconscious and subconscious.
Right.
So you're just accepting these things as rules in reality, and you have to, I mean, that's a 10-year degree, and then you're steeped with it. That's all that's in your field. Look at it like, again, information. So that's the information in your field that you're running on. And so a lot of doctors, of course, today, you guys probably know this, have woken up. They've realized, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was on this bandwagon, this roller coaster. I mean, you know, even if they were getting kickbacks for prescriptions and stuff, they really did believe, a lot of them, in this medication to a large enough extent, maybe not fully, right? But to a large enough extent that they didn't think it was doing enough harm to worry about. Well, see, that's what you were talking about, Guardian, how people can no longer just turn it off and, you know, turn a blind eye to information that's coming in anymore. So, you know, a lot of waking up going on in like institutions.
Yeah.
I guess I should use that word.
I've been seeing that a lot too. A lot of doctors speaking out, and I'm glad, you know, like, and I agree. I'm glad you mentioned that, that because most of these people that are, I'm not saying that anyone's a bad guy, you know, and sometimes it can be taken that way. And it's like, they don't know, most of them. And I was one of those people. I was a social worker. And what I did as a behavioralist was that my job was I had staff who looked after people we called our clients, and the clients were the participants. And they were adults with a variety of different disabilities, but most of them with intellectual disabilities and required full-time care. And my job was to take these individuals regularly to specialists and different doctors, usually within every 3 to 6 months. And the doctor would take blood samples and then say whether or not that their medications in their system were at a therapeutic level. And they usually weren't. They usually weren't at a therapeutic level. And they would then say, hey, this person's been taking this medication before, but it stopped working, but it was working before. So they're going to keep taking it. And they're also going to take this too. And then fast forward a little bit, this person's taking medications 5 times a day. There are 17 different kinds of medications that they're taking. Some of them are taking 3 times a day within the 5. Anyway, it's assumed and expected that a person with an intellectual disability will have a short life. It has a high mortality rate to not be able to add 2 plus 2. And everyone believes that. And I didn't realize it. I didn't know. And when I didn't even realize fully what was happening until after I left that job. And like, I can tell you from my experience, being a person who did that, like, how horrific it is to realize you participated in that system. Mm-hmm. You know, and though once you know, it's your job to stop or to do something different, you know, like the best you can. And so I'm so happy to see all these doctors speaking out, because it's complicated.
I agree with you. I left psychology research for a similar reason.
Mm.
People are not numbers, but the way that you are trained is you have to treat them like numbers and maintain emotional distance no matter what, no matter who has heat in their home. Okay? No matter who is feeding their grandkids, with, dollar cheeseburgers, and that's all the food they have, no fresh food in a frozen Milwaukee. Okay? It's very cold.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee, like this stuff would just come through and you'd have to like be in front of these people week after week and never be able to like really engage in another way. That's and at the time, I had a lot of information about like Guardian said, the creation of reality and so on and so forth, but not enough to put it all together fast. So I get what you're saying, Pamela. Like I didn't quite put everything together about what was wrong, because I'm not naming all the parts of the indoctrination, but there's a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's fascinating. You have that in common.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, so many of us go into these fields, especially psychology, medicine, because we want to help people. So yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of us who are going to have come out of these types of fields. Teachers, big time teachers, are waking up like, oh my gosh. And that's why teachers definitely, we can't vilify them. They really don't know that there's a whole indoctrination going on a lot of times until they are in it. And then what do? Joshua Fuller said something really cool, Pamela, and then I'm going to stop. I'll shush. But there was some comment that floated earlier where he said by the time, and he was speaking about physicians, I think, and he said by the time they figure it out, it's like they don't know what to do because they're steeped in this whole lifestyle. It's like this whole chain. Yeah, they're already hooked in. There you go. And he's got another comment too about it where, they're hooked into a system on one hand, but on the other end, they probably got maybe a kid in college. I don't know, just make up your circumstance. But these life circumstances. Yeah. So not to say that they're all victims that way, or I shouldn't say they, it's we, it's all of us. So not to say that we are all helpless, but yeah.
Right. And
it's real life.
And it's a good thing to talk about, particularly because we're ending it. It's the end of it. We're moving away from it. And that's the breaking down of this particular system. And it's also, you can see the breaking down. It was prophesized and now it's happening. This is the end of the slave race. That, with all of the stuff that's the state I live in now. So Arkansas, Oklahoma, and another state. I want to say that it's Louisiana. I don't know for sure. There's probably more than that now since I last looked. Is we're all considered states. We're states that call themselves food is medicine state. Yeah.
Oh.
So it changes the laws that they're allowed to offer food-wise. Like, you'd be surprised, maybe not surprised, by how many things have gotten recalled since that shift happened.
Wow.
Like, everybody's getting emails all the time about this recall, that recall, because they're like, you can't give that poisonous thing to anyone who lives in this state anymore. You have to take that ingredient out, and you have to report more. What was that?
Very cool. Finally.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. We've been eating so much shit.
Yeah.
Like I just talked with my dad recently, and we stopped buying watermelons, even though it's watermelon season. We really like them. The last one we bought, we have our big kitchen table, and we have like a plastic sheet over it because you can clean it easily, and it's white and it has some kind of pattern on it. So I chopped off the watermelon. We ate half of it or so, and after I wiped the whole table clean from that sticky watermelon-y thingy, actually the liquid that came out of the watermelon stained and colored the plastic sheet over the table, and I couldn't wash it off.
Dye.
That's so weird.
They dyed it to so what they've been doing. So I've heard about this. What they do is they try to accelerate the ripening of the fruit.
Okay.
They do this with most oranges too. Oranges aren't orange in this country most of the time. Most places, most places that only Florida and one other place in this country do they turn orange. They're actually green, and they dye them. They wash them and dye orange dye. Same with the watermelons. A lot of different types of fruit. They're trying to make it look like it's ripe long before it is. That's why tomatoes are so flavorless at the grocery store. They put a ripening agent on it, but it's really not ripened. So the inside, it's all white. That's a young, unripened fruit.
Oh my goodness.
And have you seen this fake stuff? Like, it's rubbery. Watermelon. This is something that it's been typically associated with a specific big box store.
Okay.
Grocery store. With a big W. Anyway,
all right.
So is that these fruits are showing up, and they actually don't rip, they just bend. They're like super rubbery, and no one wants to eat them. They're flavorless, and like they're not really very juicy. There's this.
Well, what is it supposed to be, Pamela? What in the world? What is this supposed to be?
It's like, okay, so I saw a couple of these machines. They look like 3D printers or plastic printers, whatever those are called. I think they're called 3D printers.
Okay.
And they put this stuff, water in one container, and then this powder in this other container, and this powder becomes a solid, like a gel or something, in the machine, and the machine then creates this food. They can make meat. I've seen them make meat. Avocados. Vicky and Vixen talked about the avocados. There it is. Avocados as well. You've been seeing this weird stuff with avocados. It's particularly these big box stores.
Yeah. Okay.
They're already genetically modified, but now they're creating them in a lab. They're like building them.
Oh my
Google
goodness.
it. I suggest anybody, because like there's so much information out there. But what I mean by Googling it is YouTube, and type it in the search engine in YouTube specifically. You'll see example after example after example.
This is a good conversation. I don't know how long you guys have, so I'm going to try to make this short. Guardian, do you have anything to say before I open my mouth?
No, I just shared my own experience with like apples, that they have some kind of wax layer outside of them or something. And I mean, they look beautiful, but that's about it.
They've been doing that for some years here in the States. Yeah, with the apples. I do know. Way back from the 80s, right?
Appeal.
Okay.
What?
Have they been doing that back all the way from the 80s? Maybe it's not the same process, but they've been, doing a little something with the apples for some decades now.
Yeah, they have been. It's just only recently have they come up. It's trademarked and called Appeal.
Okay.
And it's chemicals being infused into the peels to the outside. So they're they're acting like it's safe. It looks like a radioactive chamber, and they have like the big old big vault thing that they have to close before they push the button, and like it puts all these chemicals inside the food, and it makes them supposedly then the fruit can have a longer shelf life by 2 years instead of a month or less. It turns into 2 years. And so that's what that is that Guardian mentioned.
This is okay. So yeah, they definitely, that's a newer process. But what wants to come through, and this is not going to be a new thing, but I don't know who's been talking about this a lot, because I haven't been keeping up enough, with where other people are. I've just been getting my own information. But this conversation about innovation, okay, this is so important because there is a fear around it, and it's because of this stuff. It's because of what we're talking about right now. But what is in the energy around this is a more nefarious tone. And the reason why is there's no justification for that type of manipulation of the food at this point, with all of the actual natural resources still on the planet, there are enough resources. It is not true. There's a very large land grab going on in the United States. Now, I can't speak for other parts of the world, but okay, I'm not going to say it. Okay, so I'm going to shush on on some things, but there are land grabs going on that people aren't paying attention to, or that they're just starting to pay attention to.
Started in 2020.
Yeah, starting to pay attention to how, and farmers are really suffering right now, especially if they are attempting to be ethical, farmers, and morally responsible, in other words, worried about the nutrition of their food and just, anyway. So a lot of these larger, many of you already know this, corporations, and actually it's just the corporation of the government, of the federal government, I'm saying. It's not really different corporations, but it's they're buying up all of this land, or trying to. Anyway, the point is, there are other things going on. So once we can clear through that energy, because we don't want to get too much and start to get all into the details of that again, but everybody can do their research if you need to. Just stay in your heart, though, because a big ploy here is division and bringing you out of your heart and creating an enemy out of the human person who is being manipulated, rather than the energy itself that is trying to keep everybody stuck. Big difference. A lot of people are misinformed, but that doesn't necessarily make them our enemies. It just means they're misinformed and they don't understand yet. So, okay. But so the launching into the innovation of the future could involve a lot of being able to have, food for extended amounts of time. And it could involve all of these things, but what it won't involve is secrecy, lies, manipulation, and keeping people off of their own natural land. So this is a huge thing happening right now. People are slowly, it's like this information is trickling into the larger public. It's part of what is causing the wake up. So all this is necessary. All this BS is actually necessary to shock people. So the more mess that we see, the bigger we're going to see more waves of people really get pissed. People are pissed. Okay. All right.
You're right. Yeah. And I've seen that too. And and I'm feeling it. I don't like feeling it, but we are feeling it. And so, like Dawn had just said a moment ago, alchemize. That's what we're doing. This is the year of the snake. The year is the snake is transmutation. And so with that, we're being reminded to alchemize it. We're being reminded to transmute it too. And, it's typically a response due to my desire to not be in negative energy. And it turns into helping the other ones that are actually sending this energy out. You feel it and you're like, ew, let's clean that out of my way. And then they get to have that happy, side effect of getting to enjoy clearing the energy out, Yeah. And so, and just the same with all of this stuff, when it comes to the food and stuff, because I know some people are going to probably listen in and be like, oh no, all you got to do is the same thing, sending love to it, pray over it. Praying over the food was something that we all been taught in a religious way. And now we know why. I was that rebel that would like pretend to pray because I didn't want to do what they were saying to do. I've always done that. That's me, but anyway, now I understand why. And I can see it. I can actually see the energy of it. You put your hands over the food and you see all the icky come up into your palms. It collects there. And then you say thank you or whatever, and you send it off. And then you bring in some awesome energy and you put it in, and that's all we're being asked to do. It's water. What happens when you say ugly words to yourself? Your water looks ugly. What is it when you say beautiful words to yourself? Your water looks beautiful. And the same thing for the food. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I just said the water crystallizes when it's exposed to higher vibrational frequencies like
Yeah.
love, grateful, gratitude. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I can't remember the name of oh gosh, I'm
Dr.
gonna say
Emoto.
it. Emoto. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, yes,
I'm
memory.
obsessed. Because this is a lot of what we're doing right now. We're delivering the light to our hippocampus. So if you touch your nose and go all the way back, the back of your brain, that's where your hippocampus is. And that's associated and responsible for long-term memory. So as all being returned to our previous incarnation memory, as well as memory from this lifetime, long-term memory wise, we're um, growing the light in our pineal gland and also in a gland that we didn't know existed, that's underneath the hippocampus, which is where the brainstem is, which has been long associated with the reptilian mind. And I think this is super succinct because while this is happening, what's occurring is the naysayers, the shame, the blame, you're not worthy kind of words that are always in the back of the mind. We knew exactly their location. Those are being turned off. It's like there are parasitical energies that are like leaving us. And that's why we've got so much spine, neck, and upper back, shoulders, headache types and symptoms happening right now. Is this energy is coming off of us. And so when that comes off, we can speak kindly to our water and not have to do it on purpose anymore. It's easier. You no longer have to say, no, 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 I mean this, even though some place inside you believes that naysayer, that low self-worth talker. It's changing. And by doing that, what's happening is it's making it possible for us to raise our vibration and keep it raised. So I'm really excited about it. But yeah, definitely causing a lot of headaches.
Yeah. I haven't had too much experience with the headaches this go round. That was
Yeah.
probably like right after the new year. I mean, and it's tapered off, but the shakiness when you said when you talked about how your body feels like it's vibrating, I mean, for a person who already vibrates anyway, even for me, it was like
Yeah.
it's like I could feel a layer of skin just rise. Do you know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
skin just floating off of my body, and it's pretty surreal, but it will increase your telepathic abilities. That's for sure, because our ability to engage with each other through this vibration, it is going to also be easier. And remember, consciousness is actually non-local. Okay, that's Deepak Chopra. That's not me or the Arturians. He's wrote about this years ago. He said consciousness is non-local, and that was an activation for me years ago before I knew to call it an activation when I was pretty 20s. Okay,
Yeah.
and so yeah, wherever you are, we're communicating. You guys know this all the time, but really, oh man, Guardian, you really got me thinking when you were talking about the ET communication, the clarity of that, and how you could feel him step into your energy. That's what it's going to
Yeah.
be like, and already is with some of us already, but human to human. I mean, everything is energy, so it makes sense.
Yeah, like,
But
and also in the higher realms, like more evolved beings, like they don't talk or communicate as we do. They just like share information, I don't know, like dumps or cubes.
yeah,
Their
yeah,
experience, their understanding, what they believe to be true with each other. And it's almost like, I don't know, like you have maybe like a document on your PC and you copy it over to mine. It's like the exact same thing. Like it's not interpreted in a different way. And you like
right.
understand the other person or other being, I would say like, yeah, like 100% because like you harmonize with them on that level, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I guess like that's where we're going to, but
yeah.
just takes quite a lot of time. I think like we already do this with like people who are very close to us
Mm-hmm.
because like we are used to each other's energies and also we kind of vibrate on the same level or are used to harmonizing with each other. So we're also already doing it. Like we have the ability and yeah, like it will be very strange with like doing it with people who are carrying nasty stuff inside of them, but guess like that's where boundaries will come in.
Well, and they probably won't be able to communicate in that way anyway, because
Oh, yeah,
that's,
because they were on a different bandwidth, basically.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you're reaching
We think,
through. Like I've seen like three worlds. Like this is one world, this is another world, this is another world. See these orbs behind me, and like
yeah,
this is what we used to call New Earth, but now we're here, and this is Old Earth. But then when you look at it, it's actually not even lined up side by side. It's overlapping,
ah,
and it's really weird. You have to go up to go down and go up, go down to go up. It's a whole weird thing.
it's
Like,
cool.
and yeah, you know, everybody can remote view, everybody can astral travel, everybody can channel. If you're listening, you know already know how to do most of the stuff.
Mhm.
You know, if you're part of this conversation, these are things that you've been playing with since you were born, at least since you were born. Most times, way before then, right? But like,
Yeah.
we just need to activate each other somehow, and that's why we like start to like watch these things, and we find ourselves like it has a lot to do with low self-worth. And if you can keep someone's self-worth down low enough, they don't trust or believe in themselves, and they won't try. The more that you can get them to not believe in themselves, the more that they won't try. And if you don't try, you don't succeed. And if you don't succeed, you can't see that you have power. If you don't see that you have power, you can keep the mighty down. And so that's the shift that we're in right now, is that, yeah, we're the mighty. Y'all are the mighty. Everybody listening in, we're the chosen ones. They took the plural out of that in the Bible, and they called it one. There's no one to it. Chosen ones. It's another word they use is the elect. Elect is also interchangeable between singular and plural. They do
Yes.
this to try to trick us. There's not one chosen one. You're all the chosen ones. And listening to yourself, being able to trust yourself, is just the beginning of it. You know, learning that that internal dialogue voice, the voice inside your mind, 90% of the time isn't actually you. That's a weird one to try to swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's usually like in your own voice, like your own mind's voice, at least in the beginning. But after you like become, I think, like more fine-tuned or clearer, start to like hear other stuff too.
Yeah.
Like what I've been experiencing, I think like past year or so, is like people that I recognize. I mean, I know, and I also know how they sound. And all of a sudden, especially if I'm more relaxed a bit, I can like hear them say words. And sometimes they like say my name or something, and I call them up, and they're like, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." I'm like, "I know. That's why I called."
It's always fun to get a reaction for stuff like that. The biggest challenge I have with my daughter right now is to get her to use her words, because we communicate telepathically so well. You know, and I'll ask her to use her words, and she'll just put my hand on her chest, on her heart, which is another way to communicate that doesn't use words. But like, we can though. We can feel each other. It's this, you feel it and you know the truth of it. And like most of what we talk about in these calls, these shows, we're in channeling state, at least semi-channeling state. You know, like I don't take responsibility for anything that's been said except for the stuff that people are mad about. You know, like, but you know, like most of this amazing wisdom, it moves through me. I don't take responsibility for it, you know, and but I don't put myself below it either. It's humility, but without humiliation. You know, like, yeah.
That's I have not heard it put that way before, and if you don't mind, I will be using that. Humility
Please.
with humiliation. Wow.
Yeah. You don't have to belittle yourself to be one among many.
Yeah.
what we've been doing, that's, I know I've probably got to wrap this up. Guardian's so exhausted. It's like almost 11
Oh,
o'clock for him, I think, or
Yeah,
later.
almost.
Just that this one part is that, I've already forgotten what I was going to say anyway, because I was starting to feel like, oh, poor Guardian.
oh no.
Yeah, but what did you want to say?
I forgot
Yeah.
because I distracted
Oh.
myself.
We were talking about humility without humiliation, and then we don't have to be great to be one among many, or this is where you were. Because I'm like
Yeah.
Guardian. I wanted to hear what you were gonna say.
Yeah. Well, it has to do with like, oh yeah, exactly. So most of us come from a culture where we're taught to avoid at all costs any type of thing associated with vanity.
Ah,
And
yeah.
right.
Okay.
And so we
Yes.
always belittle ourselves. We lower ourselves. But we do it by belittlement. We do it by measuring against somebody with a big old measuring stick, and we never measure up. And so we would lower ourselves below everybody else. But guess what? When you use the real dictionary, which has like, it's a big one, it's not like the little one that I had growing up, it actually says that what vanity is to rise yourself above or to lower yourself below another.
Mhm. Wow.
To hold yourself above or below someone. And so, and because that was so ingrained over and over again about avoiding vanity, vanity's bad, then
Mhm.
like to see that me diminishing myself is actually engaging in vanity.
Right.
It unlocked that spell that had been cast against me.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
they
like
were giving us the wrong definition. Sorry, Guardian. Nope, go ahead.
no, I just wanted to mention. I think like we talked about this like last time, and like ties into what you were saying that I had like a huge discovery like a few months ago while I was reflecting on stuff that I didn't realize all these years, like how much I was like dimming my own light and like holding myself back when I was around other people because I didn't want to make them feel a certain way. So I was dimming myself down, like toning everything down. I didn't want it to shine or do anything. It just blend in with other people. And I didn't realize that I was doing that. And after I consciously like stopped myself from, like, I wouldn't say like censoring myself, but just like dimming myself or dimming my own light, I realized that holy shit, like I can do so many awesome things now because I'm like I'm like hitting the brakes while I'm trying to push the gas as well to like move forward.
Yeah.
Man, this is where we're moving into. Can you imagine if you don't have to compete for the job and you don't have to, like, all that disappears.
Yeah.
All that disappears where we're going. That's amazing. Or I should say where we are.
Right.
We are there, but we're letting the imprint, the past imprints, we're releasing it still.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and we're like in the process of materializing it. Like all these stuff and templates like already came in. We're integrating it, but like making them happen in the physical like takes time. Like physicality is dense.
Yeah.
Things move slower here, so yeah, it takes time. Although, as you were saying, like things are accelerating. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude. And the way that time has been going these days. It's Friday. Today's Friday. Like
I
that
can't
doesn't
believe-
seem like it's correct. It doesn't feel like it's possible.
Well, it doesn't feel like I've slept. Has anybody slept? Like, I mean, really slept. I don't mean slept. I'm not talking about little snippet naps. And I mean, has anybody like gone to bed at what's a decent hour? I don't know, but done a solid
I
6.
know. I don't know anymore either.
Oh gosh.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so crazy, and like I would say that most of us spend about 80% of our time in sleep doing stuff, like we're
Yeah.
actually like probably more than that. And that I don't know, I come back needing a nap from sleeping.
Yeah.
no.
I've been taking little mini naps. Just like how I meditate for 11 minutes at a time, or I used to. I haven't done it as much that way recently. But my naps have been about 11 to 15 minutes. I've got it in my phone. It's 11 minutes, and then I just try to, and I mean, you guys, you're not supposed to get into a REM that fast. And I realize.
Oh, me too.
But I go into.
Yeah.
Deep sleep. I'm talking drool. Deep sleep. Okay, 11 to 15 minutes, and I wake up refreshed. Like what? But an
Yeah.
8 hour sleep, like Pamela said, I'm not even. I feel like I'm not even rested. I'm getting up like I've been up all night.
You're getting 8 hours?
Yeah. Well,
Just teasing you.
not lately. That's an exaggeration.
But yeah, I also had difficulty with like meditating, like sitting down or stuff. I feel like I'm falling asleep. Or if sometimes I meditate on my back, like laying down on a yoga mattress or so, and I can fall asleep. So I haven't done that in the past. So
It's been tough for me too to have a regular meditation.
yeah,
Sorry, Pamela.
I just
And
feel like I'm just like slipping away, like while I'm going into a deeper state of relaxation.
yeah, my daughter's always trying to get me to watch movies with her. Her big thing is she wants me to watch a movie with her like almost every night. And I'm not a TV person, but we'll get through the open credits, and I'm proud of myself, because but the same, I go straight to REM sleep. I'll go right into dream immediately.
It's crazy.
And your leg jerks and you're like, I was 3 hours into a dream, but it'd been 30 seconds, like it's crazy.
It's crazy. You do the whole snort, wake up and everything. Like,
Yeah.
like it's been 2 hours, literally 15 minutes. I can't even believe it.
I know. And we're getting so much intel and coming in, and however it's supposed to come in for you. I do strongly encourage anybody listening to do some type of quiet time, sacred moment, in between sometime today or tomorrow. There's some really good, energy coming in. And the way that spirit shows it to me, it's like I can either accept what's being rained down on me as a gift, or I can put up an umbrella. And I always say, well, I'm going to bring buckets, because it's raining down on us. So why not? It's a gift given to this moment only. And so take this time to either go into nature, meditate in nature too, would be even better, or, meditation or some type of practice that's clearing a sacred place, and something that Guardian said a moment ago, I want to like echo it a little bit because I feel like this is important, is I'm learning to not tuck my bliss in. I'm learning to not hide my happiness and my joy.
Oh,
It's hard to do when you're around a lot of people who aren't particularly happy
Doing
right
so
now.
well, yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, this is why I hermit. And I'm not advising that everyone overly hermit, because I am being asked to now spread out again, but I'm telling you, I know how to stay home for one, or go home, or say no, and it's going to feel to some people like it's too much boundary, but you get energized and then you got more to give later. I mean, and I'm talking about physically, like, physically going here and spending time with physical people. It's a higher, how could you put it, Pamela? It's a more concentrated type of energetic interaction, if you will.
Oh yeah. And it's like when you interact with people telepathically, it's like you're slowly easing yourself into a hot tub. So you're getting like all their knowledge and stuff and everything. But then, okay, yeah, he has to go. Hey, it's 11:01 there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I get carried away. I love these conversations. I never want them to end, but you're right. We should get going.
we gotta go.
We've been on for an hour and 48 minutes. We've been live. So
Yeah, and I'm
this
doing
has been
extremely well. Like I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. So
No,
Wow.
I'm with you.
I had
Guardian,
the power nap.
this morning I was up at 3:45. I'm not kidding. I have been back to sleep for a couple mini naps since there was a kid-tastrophe that happened. But yeah.
catastrophe.
Catastrophe. That's a great expression.
No.
Yeah. I will memorize that. Yeah.
Thank you for this vocabulary, Yolanda.
Anytime.
Well, this has been such a fun conversation. Thank you both so much for being here on the show today.
I'm always
That's
happy to be
awesome.
here.
Like we should do it more often.
I really
Yes.
agree. You know, it's no one person here. All of us all started to have ascension type stuff happening at the same time, and we didn't get to connect. And no one is one person has held it, you know. So I'm just saying, we said we were going to do it. We are, guys. We are. It's just we all got kind of erratic, and some crazy stuff went down right after we said that.
It's not. The heart is well-meaning, so it's going to come together.
Right. Right. So I look forward to having a more regular thing at some point. And in the meantime, we'll show up sporadically and enjoy it. And I look forward to seeing both of you again in another 3-person conversation soon.
Yes. Love you guys. Love you so much. Thank you for having me always. You have no idea. This has made my day. So it's not about me, but I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, well.
You too.
Yeah.
Have an awesome day.
All right. Good night, Guardian.
And happy Galactic New Year.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. It's only like 50, how much? 57 minutes, and it's the new year. So,
ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a shift. All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.